Our lovely series begins with a man fishing by the riverbank. After a while he was fishing, a very large crocodile attacks him, but he manages to hide from it and returns home immediately with the fish that he'll feed his family. On the way, he's attacked by a flying dinosaur, something like a dinosaur, but it belongs to the bird family. But that's not the point. The important thing is he hides from it. After a while, he hears the sound of a huge dinosaur, scaring the bird away, and then he continues his way home as usual. As soon as he gets close to the house, he finds the tracks of a very large dinosaur near his home, along with his children scream, so he rushes to the house to save them. And as soon as he approaches the house, he finds his whole family being eaten by the dinosaurs right in front of his eyes. Honestly, he tried to save them but couldn't. After a short while, he decides to end his life because it no longer has meaning after losing his family. While he was about to jump off the cliff, he remembers them again and decides he must live to avenge them. While he was fishing, he saw another dinosaur hunting him as well, so he decided that he must take revenge. But as he got closer, he was shocked to find that it was his mother hunting to feed her children. After a while, the same dinosaur that ate his children attacked her because they wanted to eat this dinosaur's children too. When he sees this scene, he decides to help her so that what happened before doesn't happen again. The mother dinosaur is surprised by his help, and in the end, the two of them manage to kill the dinosaurs. And after a while the atmosphere was calm and beautiful, the mother of these dinosaurs comes and eats her young. In the end, the two unite to overcome her. And after that, the mother was very sad for her children, just like him, and he saw that. As he was walking on the shore, he notices that she is walking behind him, and in the end, they become friends. And that was the end of the first episode. The second episode begins with him trying to hunt a wild boar to eat, but unfortunately, the dinosaur with him catches it before he does. He gets very angry and leaves her. Then he tries to hunt another wild boar, but the same thing happens to him. He gets very angry with her and leaves her, trying to satisfy his hunger with something else. وصلت استموارين بدين بالسمك بياوة. As he's walking, he finds fruit on a tall tree. He climbs the tree, and after a few attempts, he manages to make the fruit fall to the ground. Unfortunately, the dinosaur eats it again. He gets very angry with her and tries to explain that this is his food. The summary is that he couldn't live with her in any way because she's an animal and he's a human after all. And even if he's a primitive human, he's still a human. The next day, while they are walking, they see a deer, and the dinosaur tries to hunt it immediately, but this time he stops her and threatens her with the stick he has. After he stops her, he tries to catch it, but he is surprised that she caught it before him. This time he starts fighting with her using her spear. Then the fight started between them until they both found themselves in front of a very large nest. They started to retreat slowly to get away from them. In the end, a massive wave comes as a result of the rain and takes all these snakes with it. While they are in the water, these snakes attack them, along with a huge snake, but in the end, they managed to kill them. But the problem was the waterfall that was going to kill them. Each one grabbed one end of the snake and tried to survive the waterfall. Afterwards, they cooperated again instead of fighting each other. And that was the end of the second episode. The third episode begins with a herd of very large mammoths walking through the ice. And at the end of the herd, there was an old mammoth lagging behind. It appeared too old to keep up and eventually couldn't see them anymore. He tried to call out to them, but unfortunately, it was in vain. While he was trying to catch up with them, the primitive human and the dinosaur with him were attacked because they eat it, and in the end they kill it and take the skin along with some meat for the journey and so on. While they were walking on the road, the snowstorm became more intense, so they had to enter a cave to avoid dying from the cold. The scene then shifts to the dead mammoth being eaten by wolves, but they flee after the herd returns to it. It is clear that they were very angry about what happened in the beautiful cave. Our friend, along with that dinosaur, is sitting peacefully while she's sleeping, and he is recalling his days with his family and how he used to teach his son the hunt. After that, the cave started collapsing on them, so they immediately got out and found in front of them, indeed, the leader of the herd. Of course, he greeted them and left. He started hitting the dinosaur because he thought it was responsible for the old mammoth's death. As for our friend, he had nothing to do with the matter, but he didn't just stand by watching. He grabbed the old mammoth's bone and started waving it foolishly. However, he realized they weren't there to kill anyone, but just to take the bone. He actually hands them the bone, and they leave them alone. The next day, the herd reaches the elephant's graveyard to place the bone they took there, and they start something like a funeral. The third episode ends like this. The fourth episode begins with our friend and the lad as he rides this dinosaur, and they are running from small dinosaurs that want to eat them. After some pulling and struggle between them, they finally reach a grassy area hoping to escape, but unfortunately, at the end of this area, they find them facing them, and just as he was about to fight, he notices something very strange. These small dinosaurs were very scared after sunset, and a red light appeared in their place. Of course, they didn't understand anything, and they continued on their way normally until they reached a strange place, an area full of rocks resembling obelisks with drawings of skulls. They continue on their way normally but notice something. While walking, they notice someone observing them from under the rocks, and after a while, they hear a sound coming from afar. It turns out to be a human like him, but very weak, carrying a pig on his back and running with it. As he was running, he falls and breaks his leg, so he starts screaming and calling them to help him, but they were too scared to go out. Then one of them steps forward, showing courage and strength, and just when he reaches him, something very strange grabs him and carries him away. Our friend runs to him and takes him along with the pig, and as soon as he reaches the rock and looks back, he finds the man gone. They all hide and take the pig with them. Immediately after, they are attacked by two huge creatures, but that dinosaur slices its neck in half, and they start the fight with the bats that begin attacking them. While rescuing this dinosaur, one of those bats takes him and flies away, and that dinosaur runs after it until it reaches the nest. As soon as it arrives at the nest, it immediately climbs, but it was too long for her, and after many unsuccessful attempts, she gets the idea to play dead, so they take her to the nest. And indeed, this idea succeeds, and she goes inside, and right away, she started looking for our friend. While she was searching for him, a very large spider surprised her, and the fight began between them immediately. It was apparent that the spider was overpowering her. While she was taking all that beating, she noticed our friend in a cocoon made by the spider. He frees himself from it, and as soon as he gets out of the cocoon, he starts fighting with it right away. But he needed something to defeat it, so he finds the horn of a dead dinosaur, takes the horn and kills the spider with it. Then he notices that all the bats are coming to the cave after hearing the spider scream. So he takes the spider thread and ties it to the dinosaur's house, and they both descend from the nest. Immediately they start running from the bats that were coming at them. Then they notice the Huma. They notice the person they saved before, so they call him to give him his weapon, and they start fighting the bats until they reach the grassy area. As soon as they arrive, these small dinosaurs begin to hunt the bats. The two of them leave the area and walk away, ending the 4th episode like that. The 5th and final episode begins with them walking in the forest until they reach a very calm area with a beautiful lake at its heart. They decide to rest there for a while, enjoying a kind of relaxation we don't usually find. They catch and eat some fish normally, and everything is fine, but the dinosaur isn't pleased with the place, so she decides to sit on a rock until she finishes her rest. And while he was swimming in the water, he sees something very strange, the shadow of something moving towards the dinosaur as she was sleeping. So he gets out of the water to see what happened, but he doesn't find her. As soon as he starts calling her, he feels something hit his head, and then when he wakes up, he finds himself among a group of monkeys. And there is a bear talking with 5 impressive monkeys, and it turns out to be a contest to see who is the strongest. And these 5 monkeys start fighting each other until only one monkey remains. Then they have only one challenge left, which is to defeat the dinosaur that they have tied with the rope. After that, the old monkey starts drinking some kind of strange substance, and he drinks just one drop, after which he transforms into something like the Hulk. The fight begins with the dinosaur, which literally fell from the first hit. After that, our friend, by God, when he saw that scene, became angry. He freed himself from the rope he was tied with, and went to the substance that the monkey had taken just one drop from and drank it all, and literally became an exact replica. It's almost like that's the substance Hulk was taking to transform anyway. The fight starts with the ape, and he literally splits it in half. As for the rest of the monkeys, he used them to clean his teeth. The next day he wakes up and the effect of the substance is gone, so he returns to his normal self and runs to the dinosaur to check on her. However, unfortunately, he finds her not moving at all. He sits beside her, sad, and the episode ends like that. Now this is the first season, there's a second season, but I don't know how to download it. Honestly, as soon as I find a way to download it, I'll make the summary for you right away.